I was wondering if it would be incorrect to make a blessing over things that are unique to my life. That makes me think of the
Shehehyano.
thank you. Yeah,
But
I
I
don't
think,
know.
is that what she's referring to, or is she
I
referring
don't
to
I don't think so. I think she's saying she
coming up with your own wording of
yeah,
praise?
on blessings
Yeah.
on unique things in your life.
So these prayers, these which are the barachot, the blessings in a Jewish context, typically refer to shorter prayers of praise or of gratitude. Um, and these prayers are important because they unite all Jewish communities. When you hear somebody saying it, you recognize that they are not someone who just found a Gideon's Bible in a hotel, but are filled with hatred of Jews and are trying to like copy and pick and choose. Sometimes people who hate Jews pick and choose from Jewish practices, right? So knowledge of these blessings help create a sort of a identifier of who is actually part of legitimate Israel, historical Israel. They also serve to maintain a baseline vocabulary of Hebrew for the Jewish people. Our sages did not institute, in the same way with formalized prayer, they did not institute these blessings in order to lock the gates of praise from the mouths of his people. Okay? A lot of people kind of get that feeling. That was not the intention of establishing these blessings. There is concern, especially in the mainstream or ultra-Orthodox world, that you will be saying God's name in vain if you are saying a prayer or a blessing which is not mandated. Really, the prohibition is if you utter God's name needlessly. But if you are filled with praise, and this is coming from your heart, this is not a praise in vain. That is absolutely a legitimate praise. And that praise, whether it's coming from your heart or whether it's a mandated blessing, part of its intention, its purpose, is to magnify God's name in the world and to inspire those around you to also give him praise. And a prayer of praise is coming from your heart and not just a rote memorization and you're fulfilling a cold mandate and your heart's not really in it. One such praise that is spontaneous and coming from your heart is probably going to be even more impactful on those around you. They will be able to tell that your heart is really in this. You're saying this with conviction. I'm not saying 100% of the time, but the likelihood is higher if we're honest. So it could even be that this is even the khathilah. But if you want to avoid, and you should try to avoid, making absolutely making prayers in vain, right? And some people do. We know people who just throw God's four-letter name around, if that's even how you actually say it. But they're intending to, and they just throw it around left and right like it's nothing special. We don't want to be perceived as doing that kind of a thing. So I would be careful against saying Adonai, right? And I would be respectful of the mainstream Jewish practice that we don't just say Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Ha'olam, that formulation, anytime you want to say a prayer of praise. And I'm saying it for those who may be offended and having a heart attack right now. I'm saying it so that people will know what I'm referring to. Those words, which you are allowed to say for purposes of education, again, this is the format that in the general context of the Jewish community, this is what constitutes a formal blessing. When you give it that beginning format, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Ha'olam. Most worthy of praise are you, O eternal, our venerable authority, our God, King of all existence. That's the format that makes it a baracha within the purview of halakha. Excuse me. So I would strongly encourage you, absolutely, innovate your own prayers of praise as long as you're not going on a tangent with descriptors of God that our sages did not authorize. But if you're not doing that and you're just praising him in your own words, absolutely do so. That's a mitzvah. But I would avoid saying Adonai if you're doing it in Hebrew. You could say anything else, right? And certainly don't establish it as a halakha because it's not. You're not creating, and I don't think that you are. But you want to be careful not to be creating your own practice that some other people may be around and think, oh, this is what everybody does. If
So
somebody asks you, you should be very clear.
it might
ahead.
look like a replacement of Jewish
Right.
saying.
If you're not saying Baruch Atah, for example, I see somebody just in the chat box, they said, for example, thank you, Father, XYZ. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not a problem. It's not less legitimate or less noble and virtuous if you do it in your own language. But I would try at least and this could be a way that you distinguish such spontaneous prayer from the formal legislated barachot. Try to learn the barachot in Hebrew and use them as a means for building your Hebrew vocabulary. That's part of the purpose of it. But if you have spontaneous prayer, absolutely, do it in your own words. If you're not saying Baruch Atah and you're not saying Adonai, even the Orthodox world will not have an issue with it. Most of the Orthodox community only takes issue when you say Adonai.
So
if you just say,
go
ahead.
Baruch Atah Hashem.
If you said Baruch Atah Hashem, or if you just said Baruch Atah Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, or if you said Baruch Atah Bor'i, blessed are you, my Creator, or Baruch Atah Avi, blessed are you, my Father, right? Then even most of the Orthodox world would not say you're taking God's name in vain. And this is a wonderful thing, and not enough people take advantage of it. Absolutely. Kol hakavod, tizku mitzvot. That's a mitzvah to even asking that question.
We're Mishnah, a road of discovery, where ancient texts meet the heart's inquiry. Every step a lesson learned, on the Mishnah walk, wisdom is yearned. Rabbi Akiva's teachings a guiding light, Raki Avot's wisdom shining bright. The old Torah treasure to share, on the Mishnah walk, we're all aware. A Mishnah walk, a road of discovery, where ancient texts meet the heart's inquiry. Every step a lesson learned, on the Mishnah walk, wisdom is yearned. From tractate to tractate we roam, unpacking the meaning, making it our home. In the words of the sages we find our way, on the Mishnah walk, every single day. Mishnah walk, every single day. The Mishnah walk, every single day. Mishnah walk, a journey of the soul. We're Mishnah walk, a road of discovery, where ancient texts meet the heart's inquiry. Every step a lesson learned, on the Mishnah walk, wisdom is yearned. The Mishnah walk, a journey of the soul, where the love of learning makes us whole. May every step bring us closer to the truth, on the Mishnah walk, with hearts like roots.